Hey, I'm Courtney Waterman, your tutor. Lover of anime, manga, and math. And you just tuned into another session of Tutor Me Sempai. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're jumping into a 6th grade topic, evaluating expressions. Now, if you're new to my channel, I'll be putting time codes in for this video in the description box below. So use that to skip ahead to whatever part of the video you think is most interesting. As always, if you have any questions about what you see today, or even your own homework, you can always visit me on my Facebook page, at Tutor Me Sempai, and tell me all about it there. Today's video will have 2 examples, so leave a like, smash the subscribe, and let's get started. Now, evaluating expressions that look like this shouldn't be too difficult, as long as you can answer one question. What does this expression equal whenever your variable equals a certain number? Now, that certain number is going to be given to you. Whenever you have to evaluate an expression, it's always going to be paired with a value for your variable. So for this example, we want to see what this equals whenever x is 2. We have a value for our variable now. X is going to be 2, and we want to see how does this behave. What does this whole expression equal now that we know what x equals? So let's simply plug in our 2, or substitute in our 2, or simply replace this x with our 2. That's all we're doing whenever we have to evaluate an expression. We're taking the value for its variable and putting it into our expression wherever we see that variable. Here we have an x, and there's only one of them, so we're going to rewrite this with the value of that x, which we know to be 2. And we write everything the same exact way, except we're going to replace that x, or whatever the variable is in your case, with the value of that x, which is going to be 2 in this case. Now we can continue with our mathematical operations. However, you have to make sure you're staying true to your order of these operations. Here we have multiplication, and here we have some addition. We're going to do our multiplication first, not because it shows up first, but because it's simply what we do when we do order of operations. So we're going to do 3 times 2, it's going to give us a 6, and we're going to just bring this down. We're going to just bring it down, do one step at a time. Now we have 6 plus 7. What's 6 plus 7? Well, that's 13. So we know that this expression here is going to equal 13 whenever x equals 2. That doesn't mean that this expression is always 13. It's only 13 when x equals 2. Remember, our variables within our expression could be anything. It could be whole numbers, it can be fractions, it can be positives, it can be negatives, it can be decimals. It doesn't matter what it is, but whenever you're given a value for your variable, like we are in this case, now you can evaluate your expression at that value. So since we just said it can be anything, let's change up what it is. So instead of having x equal 2, let's say x was 1/3. So we're going to do a fraction this time. 1/3. What is this expression going to be when x is 1/3? So let's simply plug it in, or replace or substitute our x for this 1/3. So we're going to write 3. I like to put things in parentheses so you know that they're separated and they're being multiplied to each other. So we have a 1/3 inside of parentheses plus 7. Now we're going to do the same thing. We have to multiply first. So what's 3 times 1/3? Well, that's just going to be 1. And we're going to have plus 7. Bring it down one step at a time. Now we have 1 plus 7, which we know to be 8. So you see we got a different value here. That's because we evaluated at a different x value. What if it was a negative? Let's have, instead of 1/3 here, let's have a negative number. So we have, let's say, a -4. We want to evaluate this at a -4. Well, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do 3 times a -4 plus 7. Well, all we're doing is plugging in our value for the variable that we have. In this case, x. We know it's going to be a -4, so anytime we see an x, we're going to throw in this value. And then we multiply across. So this is going to be a -12 plus 7, right? We multiplied these things together. And now we are going to add that 7. Now what's -12 plus 7? A -5. So you see, we're going to have a different value for our expression depending on what value we have for our variable. So let's move on to our second example, in which we're going to have a different expression and we want to see how we can evaluate that expression. So in our last example for today, we're going to have -6 plus 7m plus 2m squared, which I want to show you, you don't need to have simply an x for your variable. It could be anything. Here we have an m, unlike the last example, we had an x. As long as it's a variable, an unknown, that we're going to be given a value for, we can evaluate this expression. So we're going to do the same exact steps that we just did. Wherever you see this m now, we're going to plug in, substitute, or replace that m with our value, which is going to be a -3. So we're going to rewrite this, replacing all of the m's with this -3. So we're going to have -6 plus 7 parentheses -3 plus 2 parentheses -3 squared. Now that we replace all of our variables, we can now move on with our mathematical operations. However, let's think about what order we have to do these in. We have multiplication, we have addition, we have some subtraction, and we even have exponents now. We got to make sure we do this in the correct order. So let's first do our exponents. So we're going to rewrite all of these and do our exponents first. So we have -6 plus 7 times -3 plus 2, and this is a -3 squared. What's -3 squared? +9. All right, the exponents have been taken care of. Now let's move on to multiplication. We're going to have a -6 plus, what's 7 times a -3? A -21. So we're actually going to have a -21 here, plus, what's 2 times 9? 18. Let's actually break this down into 2 steps, just to make sure we don't lose anybody. So it's -6 minus 21. This is going to be a -27 plus 18. All right, now our final step, -27 plus 18. This is going to be a -9. So we see our expression is going to look just like this whenever our variable m is going to equal this value of -3. So as long as you can answer that one question, what does your expression equal whenever you're given a value for your variable, you should be able to evaluate any expression given to you. So I hope you were able to follow into these examples, and I hope you understand how you can evaluate your expressions. But if you have any questions about what we saw today, or even your own homework, remember you can always visit me on my Facebook page at Tutor Me Sempai and tell me all about it there. If you haven't done so already, remember to leave that like. It really helps the channel by letting YouTube know that you found the video helpful. And if you found the video helpful, so can someone else. So leave a like, hit the notification bell, smash the subscribe button, and share this video with a friend. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I'm really hoping to help with your homework. I'm looking forward to seeing you again next week. I'm Courtney, and this has been another session of Tutor Me Sempai.